Hi Coimbatore. So today we are joined by a very special guest. She's a motivational speaker. Her name is Catherine Malloy, and she's all the way from Australia here in Coimbatore to teach us how to win business. So hi Catherine, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Good, Catherine. So you are from Australia, if I'm not wrong, and you are in real estate business. So how did you enter soft skills training?
Oh, very good. Well, real estate definitely needs to use all their soft skills. So it's the way that we connect and communicate. It's not so much about the sales because they follow if we really care about what we're doing and the people we're meeting.
So like how did you identify these soft skills, and did you undergo any kind of training, or did you just picked it up from your business?
So when I was 19, I used to travel a lot, and I went to a lot of third world countries, and in those days Bali was one of them. And while I was there, I noticed that they could sell this to you for $5, to someone else for 10, and to someone else for 20. So I sat back and started to think, how do they tell what price to put on it? And they do a handshake with everybody. So I watched, and then I started to learn that sales was a dance, and everything comes through our body, and it's the giving and receiving of information. So I went back home, and by the age of 22, I'd studied body language for 3 years through Westpac. We were watching all the tapes, and I was the top salesperson nationally by the age of 22 for Westpac. So then they took me into their training department to train people in product knowledge and customer service, because for me it all comes through our own attitude, and attitude can't be taught, but we can work on it, and that's what I do.
Alright, so you're a motivational speaker, so how do you keep yourself motivated? How do you don't go down?
That's interesting. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm a lot older than you, which means I've had a lot of practice and I've done a lot of training. I've done my master's in neuro-linguistic programming. I've got all my leadership and management degrees and certificates in business. I ran a large training company with 36 trainers around Australia, and then I started to take my training internationally, and that's where my passion is. So I found out the world is just all our neighbours and all our friends, and I learn every day from every person I meet. I'm naturally a positive person. Lots of things have happened in my life, don't get me wrong. You know, I was adopted, I had 4 diseases, I lost my parents when I was young. Lots of things happen in our life, but it's the way that we handle them, the way that we think about it. And our body changes our minds, and our minds change our behaviours, which leads to our outcomes.
Alright.
So lots of years of practice.
So you're an international speaker, so, and you are basically from Australia. So how do you think body language differs from countries, or does culture influence, and how do you adapt it into your talks?
Great question. So it's very, very interesting because there's only 6 facial expressions recognized worldwide. So body language can be very different. Our signals can be very different. And so you need to be culturally aware going into a country so you don't do the wrong signals and offend people. But more important than that is our behaviour styles, and I love working with our behaviour styles, because once we understand how we behave, then we understand our domino effect. So that affects our action, reaction, or lack of action. And this is worldwide. Our behaviours are exactly the same worldwide. We're either dominant, or we're influential, or we're steady and quiet and reserved, or we're compliant and we understand our facts and figures. So when we take away verbal and non-verbal language, our raw behaviour styles of people are exactly the same. So it means I can work anywhere, I can export anywhere, I can train anywhere. I worked in Saudi Arabia for a month last year, delivering professional development, and absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. The people, everyone, everywhere that I've worked with, we're all the same, and we all want the same things. We want shelter, we want health, we want happiness, we want our children to be looked after. We're human beings and we're next door neighbours.
So when you train people, so they are from different cultures, and do you think your behavior is kind of comes from your culture? And so when you train people, does that start subconsciously, or is it possible to make a conscious change even when you're not interested or something?
Correct. I'm glad you mentioned the word conscious. We developed the Conscious Connection Framework 2 years ago, and this year it won an Asia Pacific Award in Japan in May for one of the best new products, and it's the Conscious Connection Framework. And exactly what you said, we need to be conscious. So when we're in the country, we need to be conscious of cultures, of our body language, what it is saying, because it's up to us to make that level playing field that you and I can connect and communicate on.
So as a communication expert, so whenever you meet a person, do you start judging them, or do you just walk in?
Look, people talk about judging all the time, and it's naturally something that we all do naturally. And back in caveman days, they had to know, is that person going to kill me, or are they going to be a friend? So it's really important to understand we all have that mechanism. A lot of us just don't use it well. So when I see somebody, I'm always going to meet me, like me, trust me.
Yep.
That's what I want to leave you with. I want to leave you feeling better for meeting me.
Yep.
I don't want you to walk away not feeling $1 million. So I don't think about that I'm judging or perceiving anything. I just want to know you, and you tell me through your body so many signals, because 55 to 80% of what you say is non-verbal.
Yep. So in that case, have you ever had a chance where you've gone wrong in terms of culture, this isn't the same in Australia, or this isn't the same in India?
I'm sure I have. I can't think of it. Richie, can you think of a story? Something was funny for us though. The other day there was this tapping in one of our my manager's room, and she called up, and she's from India, and 6 people came down, and they couldn't work out what the noise was, so they put a security guard on the door, and she felt safe for the night. And so the next night I said to her, how did you go? Was the noise still there? She said, oh yes, we found out it was just the wood tapping, right? So I said, did you put a pillow between it so it didn't tap anymore?
Oh.
And she said, oh no, I just knew it was that, so it was okay. So we think differently, because I would have wanted to stop the noise from banging, right? So that was just an instance that made me laugh, thinking, yes, we do things differently, definitely.
Say say somebody, if he's not confident into there are people who do public speeches, who are forced to do public speeches,
yes,
and they may not be confident. So one quick tip if you could give for them.
Okay, smile.
All right.
If it's going to be a quick tip, that's the number one, smile. Because a smile, when you smile, everything lightens up and your shoulders come back. Look, you're even sitting higher. So we just naturally do that, and that's going to build more confidence for you.
All right. So to conclude, I'm going to ask you to give me some handshake tips.
Okay.
So I could win more business.
Okay. Yay! Is it okay if we stand up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now you ready?
Yeah.
So I am going to be the $1 million customer, and you're going to come up in a moment and meet and greet me with a handshake, because you want me to buy your product. Yes? Okay.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm really good. I want you to stay where you are.
Okay.
There's a couple of things we're going to look at, and we can look at through the camera. Okay. The first thing is that we're too far apart. So what that means is your shoulder has pulled my shoulder out. I want to show you something, and you could just keep walking. So we haven't made a conscious connection yet.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is lots of different things, because your hips are also out here.
Okay.
So your head, is it okay if I touch you?
Yeah.
Your shoulders and your hips are going to line with me.
Okay.
Now there's no one else in the room.
Okay.
It's just you and me, isn't it?
All right.
Yes? So I want to show you something. If my head and shoulders are aligned but my hips aren't, it still looks like I want to go. So it's really important that you bring your hips right around. Okay, fantastic. How's that feel?
Yeah, good.
Yes? Okay, so we've got good eye contact, great smile. Now let's shake hands. Okay, fabulous. So this is something I'm going to give you a tip on, and it's amazing. Because our handshake can change in a nanosecond to meet the person you're meeting. So right now, mine's a little bit firmer than yours.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
So you firm yours up to meet mine. Stay there. Okay, perfect. How's that feel?
Yeah, good.
Good. Now, let's go. So we're sitting at about a 7 on a scale. We're going to go down to a 5. Feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're both softer, but how does it feel?
Yeah, it's kind of loose.
A little bit loose? Just go a little bit firmer?
Yeah.
A man, I always believe, should be exactly the same or 1% more for the female. Okay, you don't want to come in weaker. Yeah, perfect. How's that feel?
Yeah, good.
Good, good, great, awesome. So that would be my biggest tip for you is you're still a little bit out of alignment.
Okay.
Awesome, because I know you probably want to say hi to the camera, you're used to that. But now our head, our shoulders, our hips, shake hands, go straight in. Perfect, nice.
All right.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. Thanks
He's
for
going to have
that
$1 million handshake.